Welcome to the Effective Phone Skills course. This information is designed to help you learn the basics of effective phone skills that you can use when communicating with customers. When you finish this course, you will have an understanding of basic phone skills to help you be effective while talking to customers on the phone. The skills will include phone etiquette and using active listening techniques. You will also understand the elements that make up effective phone skills and how to prepare and focus for both incoming and outgoing calls. In addition, you will understand how to deal with different types of calls, such as someone who's angry, calls requesting information, and calls coming to the wrong extension. You will understand the correct way to place calls on hold and transfer calls to other areas of your shop. You will also understand the correct way to leave a voice message for a customer to avoid wasting the customer's time. Phone skills are critical to maintain communication with customers while their vehicle is in the shop. There are 10 key phone skills you need to learn to help keep your customers coming back. You must first get organized to call customers or to receive incoming calls. You should take responsibility for answering the phone and be willing to use it as a powerful communication tool. When you greet a customer, use an even and friendly tone that gets the conversation off to a good start. And remember to always be courteous. Setting appointments, placing customers on hold, and transferring calls can help make customers feel appreciated and valued if done right. If a caller is angry, you must use a calm voice and not take things personally. When customers call asking for information, you should be ready to answer their questions or promptly call them back with the correct answer. When you take a message for another shop employee, make sure you get all the correct information. If a customer is unavailable, leave a message that gives them an idea why you called. Don't just leave a message telling them to call you back. Each of these skills is covered in this course. Before getting on the phone to call your customer, review the vehicle service history in your shop management software to note any previous items that were not completed. If the customer's vehicle is in your shop, have the completed MPI and any technician notes ready to discuss during your call. For recommended maintenance or repair items, you should have the total pricing ready for each job, including tax and any other fees. Remember to have your appointment scheduling software ready so you can set an appointment for the customer during the call. Then verify the customer's information and update the system with any changes. Customers expect you to promptly answer the phone when they call your shop. Take responsibility for answering calls within 3 rings. Remember, responsibility for customer retention starts with you. Create a team approach to answering phone calls so customers can feel appreciated. Know that your role is an important one for keeping customers coming back and making your department profitable. Taking responsibility for the phone also means sharing any information you received on the call with other members of your team. When speaking with a customer over the phone for service suggestions, it's critical for you to inform the technician immediately when recommended work is approved to ensure the customer's vehicle is finished within the allotted time. The phone greeting you use must welcome customers to your shop and be consistently used by all employees answering incoming calls. A welcome script is helpful so new employees can answer customer calls correctly. Your phone greeting should include the name of the shop and any basic information your manager or supervisor wants to include. The greeting should also include the name of the person answering the call. For example, "Thank you for calling ABC Auto Service. This is Roger speaking. How may I help you today?" Even though your customer doesn't see you, your expression and posture can come across in your voice. You must always speak with confidence and at the same speed and volume as your customer. To respect your customer's time, always ask how you can assist or help during the call. Phone etiquette is very important to help show respect whenever you call your customers and when your customers call your shop. You should always use the proper greeting with customers, such as "sir" or "ma'am," as a sign of respect. If you know the customer's last name, use it. Avoid using a customer's first name unless they tell you it's okay. Definitely avoid slang or informal names, even with customers you know. Be polite and listen to your customer while they're speaking. Don't interrupt or make comments. Allow the customer to finish first before you comment or ask any questions. Remember to speak in a friendly tone, as how you say something can be just as important as what you say. Word choice, voice inflection, and your tone create a mental picture for your customer, so you want it to be a good one. When you're setting appointments for your customers, make every attempt to get the customer to come in as soon as possible. Use open-ended questions to offer choices, such as, would today at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. be better for you? Avoid asking your customers closed-ended questions, like, can you come in today? Or is tomorrow okay? It's recommended to use scheduling software to set appointments so the types of service or work can be tracked and scheduled properly to help create a more efficient service shop. While you have your customer on the phone, confirm their contact information in your shop management software. Make sure to add or update email addresses or phone numbers if they've changed. If possible, always obtain a secondary phone number for your customer when setting an appointment. Remember to set appointments at least 15 minutes apart so you have enough time with each customer. If you need to place your customer on hold, first ask for their permission. This shows you respect the customer's time. If they say no, set a time to call them back. Once you have the customer's permission, let them know how long they will be on hold. If you need more time to look up prices or find information, return to the call after 30 seconds and provide an update. When you do get back on the phone with your customer, remember to thank them for waiting on hold. If you need to transfer a customer to another area of the shop, first ask for the customer's permission. If the customer doesn't want to be transferred, give them the name and extension number of the person they need to reach. When you transfer your customer's call, stay on the line until the person you're transferring the call to answers. Introduce the customer and give the reason for the customer's call. Provide the other person or department with any other information they may need to help the customer. Once the call has been successfully transferred, ask your customer for permission for you to leave the call. Sometimes you may have a phone call from an angry or dissatisfied customer. The first thing you should do is remain calm and not react by becoming angry yourself. Whatever you do, don't interrupt the customer. Listen to what the customer is saying and allow them to vent. Remember to not take it personally. Quite often, customers are upset for reasons that have nothing to do with their call. If appropriate, empathize with the customer so they know you understand. Use phrases like, I understand, or I would be upset too if that happened to me. Many times the customer is just looking for an apology. So apologize if the customer is upset for something that is clearly your fault or the shop's fault. Offer a reasonable solution to the customer and ask for their agreement. Once the customer agrees to the solution, be sure you act on it as soon as possible. Remember to keep your manager or supervisor in the loop with customer issues. Remember to let the customer fully explain what their issue or question is so you understand. Take notes while you're listening so none of the details are forgotten or missed. Repeat the question back to the customer so they know you understand what they want. Always keep the conversation positive and focused on what you can do instead of what cannot be done. Be confident in your tone if your answer is correct and realistic. Use metaphors or examples to get your point across and remain professional throughout the conversation. One area that can impact customer satisfaction with your shop is messages. This happens when a customer calls for someone who is not available. It can also happen when you call and cannot reach the customer directly. In either case, you must take and leave messages that are useful to both the shop and your customers. When you leave a message for a customer, remember to speak slowly and clearly. Pause between each item or topic to allow them to take notes. Spell your name if this is the first time contacting the customer. Most importantly, give the customer a brief reason for your call. Don't just leave your name and tell the customer to call you back. Finally, say your name again and repeat your callback phone number twice. When a customer leaves a message with you for someone else at your shop, you must get basic, useful information to pass on. The message you take should include the name of the customer calling, the time they called, and who they were trying to reach. You must also get the best number to reach the customer at, as well as any message. While the customer is still on the phone, read the information back to them to verify it's correct. As you end a phone call with your customer, always ask if all their questions have been answered. If not, either answer the questions again or agree on a time to get back in touch with an answer. If all the customer's questions have been answered, go over any next steps. This could be setting an appointment or a return phone call. Always remember to thank your customer for calling or taking time to speak with you if you called. This lets the customer know you respect and value their time. Actively listening to your customer reduces the possibility of a misunderstanding later. Stay focused when your customer is talking and do not multitask. Also, never eat or drink while you're on the phone with a customer. Remember to use the customer's name during the conversation. Let your customer talk and do not interrupt them. If your customer is upset, speak only if appropriate or if you are asked a question. Always have a positive posture. Do not slouch down if you're sitting. Lean forward or into another position. Your body language can send a message to your customer even through the phone, so make sure it's a positive one. Mirroring the customer's tone is another way of letting them know you're involved. It can also show empathy with the customer. Be careful to not consciously mimic the customer, or it can have the reverse effect on the conversation. Once your customer finishes talking, ask any questions you may have to clarify what the customer means. This can also show you're listening. Whenever you're talking to the customers, ignore any distractions, such as phone calls, intercom pages, and other conversations. Summarize what your customer said so they know you understood what they said. Staying completely focused is the key to mastering the skill of active listening. There are several best practices to help you improve and sharpen your phone skills. Best practices are items and processes proven successful when used under certain conditions. Click on the image to review the best practices list. Compare the list with the processes you currently use at your shop. Use the column on the left to check off the ones you already use. The ones you didn't mark represent areas of opportunities for you to improve in. For you to be effective on the phone with customers, you must be prepared. Before you call, have the vehicle service history available in your shop management software. Also have the completed MPI and any technician notes in front of you. Have some paper and a pen to take notes during the call so you don't forget anything later. Always focus on the customer's prime item of concern before you mention any additional work that may be needed. For example, a customer brings in their vehicle because the air conditioning is not cooling properly. But the first item discussed is replacing the front struts, completely ignoring the main concern. You should have scheduling software available and ready so you can quickly set an appointment for your customer during the call. Remove any distractions that may take your focus off the call. When you're receiving calls, have a message pad and pen ready. Try to answer the call in an area free of distractions and noise. Be prepared to set up an appointment with your scheduling software during the call. Have a pricing guide or matrix available so you can accurately quote prices for needed maintenance or repairs. One of the best ways to be effective on the phone is to build rapport with your customers. Whenever you pick up the phone, always begin with a smile. Customers can actually hear you smile over the phone. Find common ground to talk about, such as the weather or a recent event. Having something in common with a customer helps them feel comfortable talking to you. This can also help you avoid long silent periods while creating a quote or setting an appointment. As we mentioned earlier, always listen and avoid being distracted. Be respectful and making sure the customer knows you're listening with a while they're speaking. Use the customer's words, if possible, to mirror their tone and let them know you're listening. Remember to empathize if the customer is faced with a challenge. Use phrases like, "I understand," or "I would feel the same way." Above all, be friendly during the call and just be yourself. Using a structure for calls each time you speak with your customer can help you be consistent and provide what the customer needs. First, always determine the reason the customer is calling. It could be to get information about service or to ask about pricing. Many customers call to make a service appointment. Ask about pricing and find out what's included in a service. Some customers may call with a comment or to lodge a complaint. Once you know why the customer is calling, get as much vehicle information as possible, such as the model, year, and current mileage, without being overly demanding. Make sure you note the customer's primary concern or the work they need done. Always verify the customer's information and update any changes in your shop management software. Be sure you quote exactly what the customer is asking for. If a customer calls for the price of a 30,000-mile service, then this should be the first quote you provide. If you want to quote on a different service, make sure you explain any differences between what they asked for and what you're suggesting. Provide clear answers to any customer questions. Be sure to use the vehicle's factory maintenance schedule and pricing guide on your shop management software for each item. Mention any express services and current service specials that apply. Also mention customer amenities your shop provides, such as a local shuttle service, available loan or rental vehicles, and the customer lounge. If your customer wants to set an appointment, always offer at least 2 appointment times. An often overlooked item that can help you become effective on the phone is your shop's phone system. The phone system can help or hinder your shop's image, depending on how it's used. If you have a direct extension, create a personal message that both reflects your personality yet is professional. Your message should be upbeat and energetic, clearly stating your name and extension number. When recording your message, choose an area with no background noise and remember to speak slowly and clearly. Customers leaving you a message are expecting you to call back quickly, so make a point of checking your voicemail messages at least every 30 minutes during the day. This is also important to keep work flowing through your shop if you're waiting for a customer to call you back with an authorization. You should also update your message daily, especially if you're out of the shop, so you can set customer expectations for a callback time. If your shop is having an event, you can include special information on the event in your message for that day. Be sure you utilize any text messaging features of your phone system so staying in touch with your customers is easier. Many of your customers lead busy lives and may prefer receiving updates from you by text message rather than a phone call. If your shop's phone system has the ability to send text messages, be sure you use it with your customers. You should keep messages to 2 sentences or less for easy reading. Provide updates at the times you promised when the estimate was written. Text messages should only be sent to existing customers or customers whose vehicles are in your shop. Use standard messages to update each individual customer on the status of their vehicle. Do not use group messaging. Remember, quality over quantity is what counts, so avoid sending texts that the customers may feel are unnecessary. When you reply to a customer, do not use one-word replies, even to a closed-end question. This can make a customer feel as though you're disinterested or too busy to help them. Always reply with a sentence to avoid any misunderstandings. Remember to check your grammar. Stay away from using slang or shorthand like LOL. Also, set boundaries with your customers so you know when to text and how often to show respect for their time. When entering customer information or with customers visiting for the first time, ask them to opt in for text messages and make a note in your shop management software.